you know what I'm saying? But still making it happen. So
Making it happen, dog.
So 15 weeks in, we obviously had to take 1 week off because your boy had caught COVID, but definitely didn't take that week off because of a lack of consistency. Your boy was just out bad, you know what I'm saying? But so this week, or I guess let's recap last week. So last week we talked about emotional intelligence, which was a super good episode. If you want to go back and check out that episode, a link to it, or not a link, but the video is in our collection. You know what I mean? I don't know what they call the little thing on.
I was going to ask you that. I don't know what it's called either.
I can't think of what it's called.
With the little play button.
Yeah. But go check that out. And then, but this week we're gonna be talking about embracing new challenges. And as always, there's a link to the kit in the bio. The Embracing Challenges kit, where it kind of Summer, hey Summer Girl, appreciate you for joining. But so episode 15, embracing challenges. The kit is in the bio, where it summarizes kind of what we talk about, and it'll be like a refresher, you know what I mean, or like a key points of what we're discussing. So be sure to check that out. But yeah, so it's your boy E Double.
Yep. Cedric Lavelle. And man, I'm excited, bro. Like I said, episode 15, man, just the content that we've been able to create consistently, man, it's been good. Only gonna get better too, bro. I'm excited about the future. You know what I'm saying? Just in our progress and what's in store, because yeah, you already know how that
hey, no, 1,000%. So shit, let's go and get into it though, bro. So so to start it off, right, the cost of change, something we'll have to give. I'm gonna go and let you kick it off.
Oh yeah. So obviously, when I think about challenges and embracing new challenges take change. Like there's gonna be things that you have to do differently. There's gonna be things that you're gonna have to embrace differently. So that's the first key point, being able to change. And so with understanding that, change, like you said, change is going to be costly, right? But by being reluctant to quit and stay the same, it makes those challenges that you have to endure conquerable. It makes those things that seem out of reach be reachable, or things that seem unattainable be attainable, right? Because you begin to take a different approach and a different perspective with embracing those challenges. And then a key thing as well as it relates to embracing challenges is ultimately understanding your spending power. And with spending power is just recognizing the things that you can change and the things that you can't change. And then also seeing that, putting too much time and too much effort into things that you have no control over really limits your opportunity to strengthen yourself when embracing change. Well, embracing challenges rather, because what I look at is this: if you're wanting to go into something and you really have a determined mindset to conquer or to accomplish whatever it is, like I said, changes are going to have to happen, but understanding the things that you can control, the changes that you can really dictate, spending time on those things opposed to spending time on stuff that you can't do nothing about, because that limits your opportunity to really embrace those new challenges and really have the mindset that it's able to be done, that it's able to be achievable, right? Because it's like if you're spending time on stuff that you can't fix and you can't change,
then at what point do you realize you're wasting time?
Right, right. It's like you're in a losing situation. It's like, so no, like change that. You can't do nothing with that. Start worrying about this. Spend time on that. And I've recognized, for me personally, like there's so much power in time and really
that is the most valuable asset. Time is the most valuable asset. And the one thing about that is once you lose it,
you don't get that back.
You can't get that shit back. You know what I mean? Like, so no, 110%. There's a little diagram here on the slide, but y'all can't see it, right? But there's 3 ways you can go, right? You can either quit, when you face a challenge, you can either change, right, which is where the growth happens, or you can resort to your old way of doing things, right, which is basically staying
Staying the
stagnant.
same.
You know what I mean? So what do you want to do when you face those challenges? Do you want to quit? You know what I mean? Are you going to just stay stagnant, or are you going to make the necessary adjustments or changes to grow and get to the next level?
Embrace those things. That's it, bro.
So you good on that one?
Yeah. We good, bro.
Okay, so cool. So the next one, so tell the two sides, like the positive and the negative. So we broke this out into 5 categories. The 5 categories are career changes, experience in debt, starting a new business, building better habits, and communicating effectively. So I'm gonna knock out the first 3 and then said I'll let you take the last 2. So career changes. When it comes to career changes and challenges that you may face, like, you have to be willing to take chances and try new things. And what I mean by that is, if you work a regular job, a corporate job, and a particular role becomes available, like a lot of people get very what is the word I'm looking for? They get overwhelmed or feel like they aren't capable of performing a job because it's something new to them and they don't have any information. So that, instead of trying and going for it and kind of having the mindset that I'm able and capable to do whatever I'm taught. What, you know what I mean? What, you know what I mean? Whatever I want to do, I can learn how to do it and get it done. Instead of having that mindset, they're like, okay, well, I don't already know how to do this, so I can't do it. Right. You know what I mean? So no, you got to be willing to take chances and try new things. So that's the only way you're going to advance in your career. If you aren't willing to take those chances, then you know you're not going to grow. And I'm gonna be 100% real with y'all from a personal perspective. Like, I would say every job I've had in the last 6 years, when I read the job description, a good half of that shit I didn't know how to do.
He said, that ain't me.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna just keep it real with you. And it's funny because I read a statistic that basically said, it said the reason why employers make job descriptions sound so difficult is, 1, to weed out people, right? Yeah. And then 2, it takes a certain type of person to know that they can't, but be willing and eager, and like the mindset that, like, I can figure this out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So 1, and then the second part of that I found pretty interesting is they actually said women were less likely than men to apply for jobs where they don't think they meet the job requirements, which I thought was interesting. You know what I mean? Like, wow, like, okay. So the women on here, you know what I mean, as well as the man, but specifically the women, you know what I mean? Like, take that chance. You know what I mean? Go for it. You know what I mean? Men are doing it more than women, but us as a collective with men and women, we're not doing it enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, be willing to take chances.
I want to, and before we go forward, I hope my wife don't get mad at me for telling this story, but I'm gonna tell it, and I'll deal with the consequences later. But some years ago, she had applied for a job, right? And she didn't think that she was gonna get it, but she just applied for it anyway, just to see what would happen.
Which is the way to do it.
So she went on the interview. And like they was asking all these questions and stuff like that, and she had to stop the interview. And it was like, I don't know what none of it. I don't know about none of this stuff. I ain't gonna waste your time. And so, you know, after she,
hey, he's playing a very dangerous.
Hey, it's all good. But look. Here's the thing to it. After she experienced that, though, she was obviously younger, but after she experienced it, you know, she made an effort to like learn everything she needed to know about certain roles, certain positions. And man, she's been tenured in her career 10 plus years in excelling. But to go to that, it's like, you know, she just went out just to see what would happen. But like you said, man, it's all about being willing to take those risks, take those chances, And even if you don't get into that opportunity or you don't transition into that position, she was 19. Yeah, she was young. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but even through that, bro, it's understanding, seeing where you are, and like, okay, I'm gonna learn what I need to learn, do what I need to do.
It's a learning experience. You know what I mean?
Exactly, bro.
And I'll share another situation. So my first software development job, I got real nervous when I looked up what the interviews are like, because for y'all that don't know, when you do like software engineering, software development jobs, you have to do code tests and whiteboard exams and shit like that. This was like, I had like 3 1-hour interviews and with different software development people, right? And when I started Googling and looking up these reviews, it was very like intimidating. I'm gonna just be real with you. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And so like and I had already just accepted another job already. So I talked to my wife and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna do this. And she's like, nah, you still should go, because, you can learn and experience and see what it's like. And then, make adjustments and see where you may need to focus, for the next one.
Right.
So I actually went and did the job interview, and that shit went amazing. And I ended up getting a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that started my journey as a software developer. You know what I mean? Like, so just take the risk, man. Go for it. Like, every time. All right. So, and along with that is with the career change part is acknowledge areas where you can improve, and then also areas where you've seen success. Because say you do step into a role, or go apply for something that you didn't think you'd get, and then you end up getting it, right? And then you learn more about that role, and you're like, man, I'm actually really good at this. An area that you never really knew about or focused on. Like pay attention to that and hone in on that, and
that's big,
on that skill, and pursue that further. So next up, experience and debt. So obviously debt is a challenge, right? That's a challenge for a lot of people. I think one of the main issues in most individuals, as well as couples and relationships and marriage, are like financial issues, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a challenge for a lot of people. So when it comes to that, and ways to deal with that and embrace that, is challenge yourself. Like, okay, challenge yourself on your spending habits, right? Like a lot of us want that instant gratification. You go bust your ass at the job for 80 hours, you get your paycheck, and then you want to spend some on yourself. You want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, so to speak, right? But is that short-term benefit that you're getting from doing that the best thing for you long term? And what we always need to be thinking about is long term, right? I literally just said to my sister, the seeds that you plant today will bear fruit tomorrow, right? And now that doesn't mean tomorrow, you know what I mean? It's an analogy, but like once you plant enough seeds and you start putting that work in, that fruit starts coming more frequently. It comes quicker, to the point where it seems like you always like, damn, like things are going good for me. You know what I mean? Because you planted a lot of seeds, and now all these different, trees are bearing fruit. You know what I mean? So challenge yourself on your spending habits, and are you making smart, conscious decisions? Are you investing? Are you doing certain things? Are you kind of spending recklessly? You don't have a budget, like things like that. And then that leads into the second point of putting together a budget, and eliminate your debt. If you have a lot of debt, and credit card debt, student loans, whatever the case may be, put a plan together to start eliminating that debt.
Right.
When I was younger, an old head told me, you get a few opportunities at credit in your life. And when they told me that, I didn't know what they meant at that time. But when I got older, I realized what they meant. And what they meant by that is, say when you turn 18, and say you get a credit card, you run it up, you got things in collections, maybe, I don't know, some medical bills, whatever. You know what I mean? It all goes into collections. If you, at any point during that mess up, correct your actions, right? Eventually those things will fall off,
right?
Or you can pay them off, right? and then it'll take a little time, but then now you get another opportunity at credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of people do is they continue those bad habits, right? So now you got one thing, you know, if you have things going into collection, you know, each year for 8 consecutive years, now that 8 years then turned into 11, 12, 13 years. You know what I mean? So like,
continue bad habits.
Exactly. So at some point, if you can correct your actions and start paying attention and doing the right things, you can get another opportunity to correct your credit. You know what I mean? And again, that can happen to you a couple times. You know what I mean? From 18 into your 20s, 30s, and then from your 20s, 30s into your 40s, 50s. You know what I mean? Your 30, 40. You know what I mean? But if you can make the necessary adjustments, you can have another opportunity at getting your credit together. But it's important to put a plan together and, you know, eliminate that debt. And then the next, you know, bullet point here is starting a new business. So a lot of people are not very entrepreneurial, right? And I say this all the time. If somebody asks an entrepreneur, how should I get started? Then you're not an entrepreneur. Straight up. Because a true entrepreneur just gets started. They don't know what they need to do to get started, but they have a passion for something, and then they just go for it and figure it out as time goes on. Now, with that being said, when we talk about starting a new business, it doesn't have to actually be a business in a sense of like you start a clothing line or you offer a service or something that you sell. It could be something as simple as you know, you invest in properties, you know, and you have rental properties, you know, which that's not a business in like a brick and mortar type store type business, but it's like an investment where you're entrepreneurial and you're starting a business. You're generating additional income, you know, besides your regular 9-to-5 job. So when it comes to that, mind your business, right? And that I got that from Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Where mind your business basically is mind your business, create you something and spend that time on it and mind to it, right? In the book, you know, Robert Kiyosaki, I think that's how you pronounce his name. You know, he talked about his poor dad taught him about, you know, climbing the corporate ladder and, you know, work hard, get a good job, you know, climb that corporate ladder. And then his rich dad laughed at that and said, instead of climbing the corporate ladder, why not own the ladder? You know what I mean? Like, so instead of, you know, working for another company and corporation to make them rich, you know, work as hard as you can while you're there to make as much money as you can to start your own business. You know what I mean? And work for yourself, you know? So mind your business. And then just adding on to that is be willing to take risks and challenge yourself. You know, I got a phrase, you know, fail fast, right? And I stole that from somewhere. I don't know where I stole it from, so I can't quote him. So I'm gonna just say it's mine. Oh well. But fail fast, right? The quicker you try something out and you fail, the quicker you can learn what not to do next time. And you can recover from it. If you have to remove doubt and indecisiveness because it holds you back and it stops you from progressing. So the quicker you can get something started, right? So say you linger on something for 6 months because you don't know what to do. And then once you hit 6 months, you try it and it fails, right? You wasted a whole lot of time. If you would have just got started and did it 6 months ago, you would have failed that much sooner. And at this point, you could have already recovered from it and been on to something new. You know what I mean? So fail fast. Be willing to take risks and challenge yourself. You know, very important.
That's a fact.
So hand it off to you, Sid, for the last couple.
And so the last couple of bullet points on the tale of two sides is one is building better habits, and then the last one is going to be communicating effectively. But as far as building better habits, it's how do you manage your time? And with managing your time, it's all about being intentional. If you've heard some of our episodes in the past, I'm a little bit of a overachiever, I guess you would say, when it comes to time management and how I manage my time. I basically have an itinerary for my entire day. When I wake up to when I go to bed. If somebody was to call me and ask me, what am I doing at X time? I can say, I'm doing this, and this. Now, obviously, you know, life happens and you adjust as you go about your day and as things come about. But for me, it's all about being intentional. It's all about managing every minute of my day. That way I am more effective. That way I can see the holes in my day where I can say, well, I can do this. Or if I can squeeze a little bit of time to do something else.
Your brother's a fool. Hey, so I want to say something right quick. Why you on that
go
point?
for it, bro.
So I got my homeboy Chuck in here. He joined a little bit, and he was actually just talking about that, which I'm not going to share his business, but he just went through something where he needs to be a little bit more careful with how he manages his time. And like I referenced you and told you how the planner worked out for me. You know what I'm saying? But I literally was just talking about this because you really are the one who got me into buying a planner, writing it out, mapping out your day,
man.
Because it's terrible when you ask most people, hey man, what you got going on Thursday? Like, say y'all trying to plan, go out, do something, like, hey man, what you got going on Thursday? Like, oh no, I don't think I got nothing going on, man, it's all good. And then lo and behold, they got a doctor's appointment or something like that, or that they forgot about, or you know what I mean, or it's, you know what I mean, just not properly planning and allocating your time. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's extremely important, and again, very great advice, and you know what I mean. I've adopted your strategy. So
that journal works one is in something that I started doing maybe months ago is in my notes section. Like I said, I pretty much have an itinerary for my day, and I'll put it in my notes. I'll screenshot it. I use I forgot the name of this app that I use, but I use the app and I put like little templates on there, and it's actually my screensaver. So if I'm off task, and it holds you accountable too, doing it that way, because if you're off task and you're doing something you're supposed to be doing, it's like, bro, it's 3:30 to 4:30. Like, you supposed to be doing this. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's that accountability piece to yourself to make certain that you're being intentional with your time and you're managing your day effectively, right?
And I'm gonna be real. When I first did it, I was dead set on it and stuck to it like to a T. But then as time adjusted and things would pop up where I would need to make adjustments, you know what I mean? At times it got harder. But what I will say is having that planner still increased my productivity.
For sure.
Because I had something that I could go back to. So like if I fall off and I couldn't do what I was supposed to be doing during this time segment, I was able to get back on track and continue on, which still made me more productive than if I didn't have the planner.
Right.
You know
so
I mean?
it built a habit, because now you have a routine that you were used to, but in the back of your mind, you still know, like, okay, I should be doing this around this time, or I should be doing X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So, man, it helps. And then the last one for that bullet point was, are you taking care of your physical and your mental health? And obviously that takes a significant change when it comes to habits. Are you taking care of your physical health and your mental health? When I worked for Lifetime Fitness for 2 weeks, we'll talk about that story sometime later during some of our lives. When I worked for Lifetime, one of the things that the trainer would always tell me was like, how people will come in and they're looking for this quick fix. Like, oh, I want to lose X amount of pounds in this amount of days. Okay, that sounds good, but let's be more realistic. And so he would always talk about how, you're trying to break habits that you've had for an extended amount of time. If you've done something a certain way for the past 10 to 15 years, and you just getting back into the gym or trying to get active, it's going to be a new challenge that you have to embrace, right? It's going to be something that's going to feel different to you because you're trying to break old ways that you've had for so long. And so the idea of being patient, right, is what comes into play. Like being patient with the process and learning and understanding your body more and things that work for you and things that don't. But obviously, when you're looking to do something quickly after you've been a certain way for so long, it can discourage you, or it can cause you to quit or stay the same, as we were talking about. So really understanding that, when it comes to your physical and your mental health, changing your habits takes patience. It takes, a significant amount of time. But when you get into a routine and you're willing to change and you're reluctant to stay the same and continue the same habits that you've had for so long, you know, it definitely makes that transition more effective, and it allows you to embrace, you know, the new challenges that come about. And then the last one was communicating effectively, and understanding, you know, if you're properly communicating your expectation with the people that surround you. And Ian, I've talked about this a lot of times too, of how, you know, we hold a certain level of expectations for ourselves, but we also hold high expectations for each other as well too. And I think with anybody that's within your circle, within your family, people that's connected to you, you know, having that level of expectations is beneficial. You know, it goes a long way, because at the end of the day, you want to uphold a certain standard, and you want the people that are around you to uphold that standard as well. You know, because if you can progressively move in unison towards a common goal, or each your individual goals, you know, having people who are like-minded and willing to go that extra mile and do the things necessary to progress, are the type of people that you want to keep around you and keep in your circle and communicate with on a day-to-day basis, right? And then the last thing is, are you engaging in discussions that are adding benefit to your purpose? And one thing about me is being beneficial. Like that is my statement from now until forevermore. You know, and I'm married to that. Like being beneficial, you know, and doing things that are useful, not just to myself, but the people who are associated and connected with me. Taking every day that I have and making certain that the discussions that I'm engaging in are not only encouraging me, but also are benefiting me, so that I'm able to fulfill the purpose that I have for my life. You know, and I go with a purpose statement. You know, I have a purpose statement for what I do, and that's create the benefits that connect people to better. That's something that I've always, I say always, but over the past couple of years, as I've transitioned and matured, that's something that I feel really reflects what I want to do and who I am. Like I'm passionate about being able to create things that connect people to better. And better looks different for many people, but at the same time, I feel like if I'm doing a service of learning everything that I can and sharing everything that I know, you know, I'm effectively communicating. I'm being able to live a life of just influence and inspiration, which I feel goes a long way as well too. So that was the last bullet point on that. But one thing I want to touch on with the tale of two sides and just the positive and the negative. Obviously, there's a positive and a negative approach that you can take to everything. But in addition to that, understand that there's a growth and the fixed mindset that you can take on all of these things, right? Like a growth mindset is being willing to learn and knowing that you can learn and understand more. And then obviously a fixed mindset is coming up with all the excuses to stay the same. Why something won't work, or why something won't, you know, be better, or why you're not able to execute and do X, Y, and Z. So, you know, really looking at that aspect. And there's a book called Mindset, and it's in our recommendations. But in Mindset, the author talks about a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and how those things kind of, you know, contrast with one another, and the benefits of having one over the other, and all those types of things. So I recommend definitely going to check that book out. But with these particular bullet points, right, really understanding like there's two sides. You know what I'm saying? There's two sides that you can take with it. But if you want to embrace new challenges, it's really having that positive mindset as you approach it, and having a growth mindset as well. And then that's going to allow you to embrace those challenges more wholeheartedly. You feel me?
Yeah, no, 1,000%. All right, cool. So the last portion of the segment here. So a competitor's approach, the benefit of mindset and movement. And then there's a acronym here, PLAY, which so P is prepare yourself daily, L lean into the action, A adjust your approach, Y yield positive conversations. You want me? I guess I'll take the first two.
Take the first two. I'll take the last two, bro.
Yeah. So P, prepare yourself daily. Be intentional with your time and purposeful with your plans. I really don't even got to dive too much deeper into this because we talked about it already. You know, and in order to really, you know, conquer challenges and to progress and to move forward, you have to be intentional with your time and purposeful with your plans. If you don't have plans of how you're going to achieve certain things that you're looking to obtain, then to me, it's not really it's like a dream. You know what I mean? It's like
Sure.
just like a thought. You know what I mean? It's not something you can actually put into to action and actually accomplish.
Make it tangible.
Yeah, you exactly, to make it tangible. You have to be intentional and plan, right? So, and again, prepare yourself daily. You got to be consistent. You know what? No matter what we talk about, any advice anybody can give you in this world, whatever you read, whatever you come across, tips, whatever, it always has to be wrapped in consistency.
For sure.
Period.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because if you just do it a little bit and you fall back into your normal routine, it's not going to net you a gain. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to be consistent. Whatever it is, you got to wrap it in consistency. Then the L, lean into the action. Focus more on what you can do right and less on what you can, and less on what can go wrong. So again, this just kind of goes back into focusing on what you have control over and not putting a lot of energy and time into things you can't control. You know what I mean? Like, just period, point blank. The more time you spend dwelling on things that are out of your control, the less time you can spend on controlling the things that you do have control over and the progress you could be making.
And making results. Yeah.
Exactly. So focus more on what can go right and what you have control over, and less on what can go wrong and what you don't have control over. And I'll leave it there.
Then the last two on that was just adjust your approach. And like I said, yield positive conversations. But with adjusting your approach, it's mainly about pivoting when necessary and always being open to different paths. And with anything that you do, you know, as it relates to achieving something or looking for a certain result, it's going to always take some sort of adjustment in the process. You know, whether it's adjusting your schedule, whether it's adjusting your thought patterns, whether it's adjusting the company that you keep and the people that are surrounding you. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that you have to do differently, right? In order to successfully accomplish whatever it is that you're looking to get to. But adjusting your approach and being open to a different path really can get you there quicker, and also do it much more efficiently as well too. Because a lot of times when people are trying to make recommendations for you, and you're so fixed on doing something one way and you don't have that growth mindset, you can limit your capabilities of really contributing to what you're trying to successfully accomplish, right? Like you can become stagnant in one position, continuing to try to do the same thing repetitively. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, when somebody's giving you this advice, or there's a different approach that you can take that's opening up for you, it's like, be willing to take that approach. Like, have a long, even if it's a goal, like, yeah, you have a goal of doing this, and this may potentially be your long-term goal, right? But it's like, okay, in order to get there, there's going to be some things that you have to do in the process in order to achieve that long-term goal, that big goal. Like sometimes you got to do certain things in like bite-sized pieces, right? In order to really get to that bigger thing that you're trying to do. And I'm an example of that, because I have a vision for something that I want to create long-term. But I've recognized that in order for me to get to that, I definitely have to do certain things to build my foundation in order to get there.
It's like the snowball effect. You know what I mean?
Snowball effect. You got to play it that way. And then on the last one is yield positive conversations, and that's affirm yourself with words of encouragement and positivity. Like I say that we are who we are based on the words that we use, right? And if you're wanting to achieve anything, if you're wanting to embrace any type of challenge, like, you have to affirm yourself positively. I made a post today on my Facebook about, I do affirmations with my son. I've been doing affirmations with him since he came out the womb. He wasn't even talking or comprehend much, but I was affirming him, and I was really wanted to instill positive language into him as he grew older. And today we was reading a book and he came across the word confident. And there's a little chant that we have when I say, my son's name is Carter, but I say Carter is confident, Carter is courageous. No, Carter is strong, Carter is confident, Carter is courageous. He can do anything, right? And we wrote it down before. He's repeated it. I repeated it to him. He's repeated it back to me. And like, we've been doing this for the past few years. And so now when he sees those words, he can immediately identify them. So he can say them. He can somewhat almost spell them. But when he saw this word, it went through our reading this morning, and he was like, confident. Oh, like me. It's like, yeah, buddy, like you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it's really taking that time, man. And if it can work with a 3, almost 4-year-old, you know, just understanding that the words that you say to yourself, the way that you speak to yourself when you're going through challenges, you know, saying, I can do this. I can get it. I can get this done.
It's all about feeding that subconscious, man.
Feeding that subconscious mind, man, and really, and what the title says, competitor's approach, because I look at challenges like this. It's competition at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And anytime that you're going into, if you're an athlete going in to play a game, or you know, you're competing against another team or whatever, there's a certain mindset that a lot of athletes have as they approach their opponent, you know, who's about to challenge them, right? Like, there's a certain way that they go about preparing themselves. There's a certain way that they lean into the actions that's going to be necessary to win the game. There's a certain approach or adjusting of approaches that you take within the game. You know, they may be out and doing this set or running these type of formations. You may have planned to do something else, and it's like, okay, well, this ain't working, so we're gonna have to switch it up. You know, not to get too technical, but they might be in a 3-4 defense, and you expected them to, you know, be in a 4-3 defense. You know,
that boy throwing out.
Hey, you
football.
Know, I did play collegiate football for a little bit.
Let's use the basketball analogy. You thought they was gonna be in a 2-3, and they was in a boxing one or something. That's a little easier.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta do a boxing one, and, you know, triangle offense. You know what I'm saying? But you know, there's adjustments that you have to make as you're going through it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to win at the end of the day, that's the goal. You got to adjust. You got to take a different approach whenever it's necessary.
You know, I like your analogy there too. And there's another book I read, Relentless, right, where it talks about, you know, different great athletes and like their mindset, right, and how some go into with a plan, right, and, you know, kind of stick to that plan, where others, it's just all about mindset. You know, they necessarily don't have a plan, but have the mindset that whatever obstacle I encounter, I will be able to overcome it.
I will overcome it.
You know what I mean? So, you know, whichever works for you, but it's all about here.
The mental. The mind is the motor to everything, bro.
And, you know, and your confidence, and, you know, and if you need the plan to gain that confidence, you know what I mean? Whatever it takes to strengthen that mental.
That's it, bro. Got to do that. And then, yeah, man, that's really it. All I had on that, man, is just take that competitor's approach. Like, and really, with every challenge that you face and that comes about, really embrace it in a way where you're telling yourself, okay, this is something that I know, because obviously challenges are inevitable. Like, that's just what it is. That's just life. You know what I'm saying? But if you go into it, and you're really wanting to overcome it and achieve it, and you're doing all the things that are necessary, and you're sticking with it no matter the time that it takes, rest assured that there's going to be a favorable outcome. Like, there's something positive is going to come out of that, because I just don't believe like putting in work and making progress will be in vain. You know what I'm saying? And the certain outcomes may not look the way that you may have possibly anticipated, but I know we've said in a segment before, and you got, you know, with one of your songs, like, a win is a win. Like, take the W. You know what I'm saying? Like don't beat yourself up because, you know, you
barely did it, or you got a little lucky, or
like,
whatever the case. Man, like, at the end of the day, a win is a win.
hey, slow progress is better than no progress. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about progression. You know, whether it's an inch, a mile, 2 miles, it's all about that forward movement. And then as you go through those things and you make your mistakes or you learn from it, then you can speed it up. You know what I'm saying? Like then you can start going a little bit faster because you're learning as you go. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I had, bro.
Yeah, no, 100, man. So yeah, embracing challenges, right? Um, Obviously, as always, we have some books in the recommendation section. Um, so go, be sure to check those out. And then just to repeat, the kit is in the bio, where it kind of recaps everything that we talked about. Um, Again, appreciate everybody that joined in, that are still here. And week 15, man, as Cedric mentioned earlier, it's only gonna get better from here, man. We got a lot of things coming down the pipeline. But without further ado, man, if you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough.
Hey, and tell a friend to tell a friend about us, man. Tell them to tune in on.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Thorough Thursdays.
But we got some things that's going.
You know what I'm saying. But
we just sprinkling the kind. What's my man with the
sprinkle a little.
We just building up the content, But yeah, no, hey, again, we appreciate y'all, man. Y'all don't do nothing else. Keep it thorough, and we holler at y'all.
For sure. Yeah.